Everybody, Elisa here with another Vera Bradley bag of the day. Today I thought since I had a little bit of time I would do another top 10 video that I kind of been wanting to do for a bit, which is my top 10 Vera Bradley flower patterns. um, of course, in typical fashion, I did put them in order, and I did rein it into 10 for the official list, but in typical fashion, I do have a couple of like honorable mentions, so my list is never exactly 10. It's too hard. Um, so I thought I would start just with the honorable mentions. The first one is Superbloom. I mean, this is just sort of a luscious uh, pattern, and I don't know. I feel like no one talks about it that much, and it's really very tropical, and just this beautiful, luscious, deep pinks and the blues. Definitely makes you feel like I could see carrying this in Key West. um, so I just wanted to give a shout out to Superbloom, although it didn't make the official list because there are just so many. You know, what are you going to do? And this, for people who are wondering, is the Hadley on the Go satchel, um, which I love as a crossbody bag. It's my favorite crossbody bag. Um, so it's discontinued. uh, I just store this flat, so that's why it kind of doesn't have, it looks like a pancake. And then the other honorable mentions that I wanted to do are sort of a pair. Um, and they're the two it's derivations on the Lavender Meadow pattern. I didn't pick Lavender Meadow for my top in any of my top 10. It's not in the top 10 list because I'm really not crazy about it. I initially was drawn to it, but I sort of kind of cooled to it for one reason or another. But I do think that these two plays that they've done on the pattern are much more interesting to me. What I do like about this pattern is how it's rendered. I feel like it looks like comic book drawing, and that really becomes apparent in this version of the pattern. But here I'll start with this, which is Lavender Bouquet. This is a packable tote, and love this gray background. I do show this in a video a while back. I showed this in a video. It might be I might have a packables playlist, and it might be in there. Still get the I don't think you get the bees in this one, but you do get the ladybugs. There are more than one style of ladybug. But I really do like the combination of the purple tones with this. I just think this gray is so beautiful. It's so elegant, this kind of a gray. And so for that reason, I do like this better than the regular Lavender Meadow. Here you can sort of see what I'm talking about with this line work here on how the flowers are done. Very much like comic book inking and drawing. So I do like that. And there's a travel blanket in this pattern, this color scheme. I wish they had made this in a regular throw, because I'm not a big fan of the travel blankets for my own use. I mean, I use them as car seat covers, but for the dogs, but I don't like that pocket, and the pocket works for me in that it's handy to have that pocket, but just for personal use, I don't like that whole pocket area. It becomes kind of thick and unwieldy and uncomfortable. This is Banquet Bouquet, which was some kind of special edition that was put out for some kind of first ladies luncheon or something, some special event that was held. And I know the pattern, the hang tag on this said the pattern was designed in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And so I'm in a nod probably to Indiana. In addition to the ladybugs, you've also got race cars in here, sort of as a nod to the Indianapolis 500. So you got these race cars in red, as well as the ladybugs, and this pattern. Here's another one. And obviously you can, there's a race car there. And you can see that there's no color except for that red and the, a few green leaves here and there, and this kind of chartreuse kind of color, which I love. And before I forget, additional nod to the race is in the lining, where you get ladybugs and you get the race cars again in the lining, but you also get the checkered flag, which is fun. You can see it there. So that's kind of fun. But I just really like the fact that there's no color. That they've basically dropped out the color, and they've just done a black and white version of this. And this is Performance Twill, which is nice. Has that nice, delicious, smooth, slick feeling. Excuse me while I have a moment with my Performance Twill. But you really can see, now this really looks like comic book inking before the color's been done. People know how comic book illustration is done, at least the way it used to be done. I mean, now procedures may have changed a little bit because things can be more computerized. Back in the day, one guy did the pencils. It was usually guys, women too, but back in the day it was usually men. One guy did the pencils, and a different guy laid the ink over those pencils, and then a third guy put in the color. And this really looks like that stage where there's just been the comic book page has been inked, but the full color hasn't been put down yet. And so I just think this is very strong, very graphic, and it makes it look less sweet. I think that might be part of my problem with Lavender Meadow, is that all the lavender, I do like lavender, but there's a sweetness about it. And this is to me, a little bit slicker, a little bit more sophisticated. I really love this bag. I have thrown this in the laundry, and it went through fine. So I'm very pleased with that, and I did want to give a shout out to that because I do love this particular pattern. Okay, so now to the official list, which I will do in reverse order. I do have it written down here. I'm sure I won't remember all of it. I'm going to start with number 10, which is Garden Grove. And I'll try to put the dates of everything in the video description, because I don't know, I didn't look them up. And people are familiar with this relatively recent pattern, still available. It's hard to sort of, beat those big, almost like cabbage roses or something. I mean, very English countryside, but with a sort of an edge because of the color. And I love these the blue, especially the blue roses. I mean, really, it's just a slightly off kind of color from what you would expect a rose to be. And this is my favorite rose in the pattern. I just love the way it's drawn. So I was pleased to get those on the front. Technically, this is the front because this is where the label is, but I guess it doesn't really matter. This is just the tote bag, which it seems like they're not really making when they do they're not selling it on the website when they do a regular release, but you can find it sometimes in Hallmark or other vendors that sell Vera. So like I got one of these in French paisley, not from the Vera website, but in my Hallmark. And I noticed they had one there in Felicity Paisley, the breast cancer pattern, and they have one there in Bedford Blooms. So it seems like they're still doing that, which is nice. This is the back. Again, big blue roses. Very, very pleased. I ordered this. It was on sale. When they had a good sale on the website, I ordered this, and because this was when they were still offering on the website. And so this was a good price. I don't remember, but I mean, it was at least half off, may have been even more. Because I may have had a coupon or something I was able to use. I don't remember. And of course, this pattern has that great lining, but that really isn't what puts it on the flowers list. But I do love this lining. Anyway, so that was it. Garden Grove, number 10. Number 9 is Rose. Oh yes, this is an oldie but goodie, Moon Blooms. One of my early Vera loves. This is a pleated tote. I also have this in a Glenna, but to get it out of my closet was just going to be such a nightmare. It's crammed way in the back. But people might get a kick out of this, because people are always asking me, how do you store your Vera? And will you show us how you store your Vera? And I say, that is no way on God's green earth is that ever going to happen, because my closet is like, it's like that episode of Friends when Chandler discovers Monica's locked closet and he picks it open. I think he's with Joey, and he picks it open with a credit card or something. Somehow they bust the lock and they open this closet, and it is just crammed, to the hilt, messy with all her crap. And so that's her dirty little secret. And that's what my closet looks like. So no one's getting in there. But this does kind of give you an idea of how I store things, because I just pulled this out. I didn't bother emptying it out. It's how I've stored it with stuff in it. This is what I do as much as I can. I nest stuff, and there's stuff in this. This is a blush and brush or whatever that is, and there's wallets and stuff in there. There's a laptop sleeve here and a tablet sleeve and an umbrella. So, stuff just gets stuffed, nested, and that helps things keep its shape. So that's what I do basically, and my whole closet looks like that, but it's a nightmare. But I just fell in love with Moon Blooms when I first saw it. It just has that kind of quirky kind of look to it, and it's got this sort of acidic kind of color scheme. It just spoke to me. Creative. Reminds me of children's drawings. Fantastical. So I really was pleased to get this bag. Pleated tote. Not a bag style that I'm really crazy about. I do like it preferred in the vintage styles rather than the factory style version of it, which I'm not even sure they're making anymore because they have the large Glenna now. But yeah, just love it. Very little shop of no. What's that one with the, Little Shop of Horrors with the big Venus flytrap. So anyway, that's number 9, Moon Blooms. 8 is another oldie but goodie, Clementine. This is the carry-all crossbody. I don't think I've ever shown this one. Again, stuff nesting in there, various small cosmetic pouches and things in there to give it shape, and then this was slipped in something else in my closet. I just pulled it out. So it has the long, see if I can get it out easily, the long crossbody strap. This is a great crossbody bag. I do like this one a lot. And when you get these, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen one without, I think I have, the one that I have in Bohemian Blooms doesn't have a piece of trim. But, I have this in Moon Blooms as well, and I think I have it in Havana Rose. That one does not have trim on it. But this one and the Moon Blooms have the trim, which is nice. Get a little strip of that trim vertically on the front. And there's a zipper on the back. But this is a great pattern. I mean, I've talked about this pattern before. Again, one of my early Vera loves. A very hippie child, very 60s, free love, and happy. A very happy pattern. Also maybe a little childlike, whimsical, very whimsical. And I have talked about this in a couple of previous videos. So that was it. Clementine, number 8. Number 7. Oh, I'm still going vintage. Make me blush. I mean, this is such a sweet, feminine, pretty pattern. Makes me just want to go get my very pink lipstick out and put it on. People probably aware this is the same pattern as Poppy Fields, only different color scheme. Just really can't beat this. Love that the combination of that sort of azalea pink, I really like kind of lipstick pink with all the green tones. Just sort of have a little olivey kind of, some of these have a little sort of pea soup kind of feel to them, and some are a little bit more lemon-like, pale yellow. So I like that a lot. This is the reversible tote. It is reversible. It's a true reversible bag. I think I've shown this before in a video. I may have turned it inside out. There's a nice lining too. Very sweet with the more of the flowers, those big pink flowers. So that was 7, Make Me Blush. 6, Mocha Rouge, which I did talk about recently in my top 10 fall patterns, and this was the bag I showed. I have this in a quick draw too, which it would have been nice to be able to pull out and show just for some variety, because I did just show this one in that other video, but to get that, I don't even know where that one is. It's just under a mound of stuff. So this is the 3-pocket tote, great style that I've recently discovered, and I just, again, can't beat that deep azalea pink for me. Reminds me of my grandmother, who had lots of azalea bushes out front of her house in that color. And my mother-in-law too had azalea bushes, but she had a lot of white ones, but she had, I think she had some pink ones too outside of her house. Very pretty. I just like that sort of mix of the color with the dropping out white, you know. I don't usually go for that, as I said, with this pattern, when I talked about this pattern before, because sometimes it looks unfinished to me, but I feel like it works here. Maybe it's because they're scribbled in enough. There's enough black line work in there that they kind of look full. They don't look quite so empty. I do like this pattern a lot. Very graphic, very bold, and so I think that those big flower heads kind of modernize it a little bit. They're very graphic. And again, nice bit of trim of these vintage styles. So that's nice. They're flowers, sort of, yeah, flowers. Or maybe more stylized, sort of like, almost look like dahlias or something on the lining. So Mocha Rouge, number 6. Number 5, I really didn't realize how many vintage patterns I have here. Excuse me, puppy dog. I know I'm taking your pillow. This is Camellia. Love this pattern. Again, I do think it holds up. I think it looks very modern because of the way the flowers are drawn and because of the size of the flowers. What is going on with my strap here? There we go. This is the quick draw. Love this style bag. I think it sort of has a bohemian kind of look to it. I love it. I love that kind of bucket shape. It has a drawstring. I never work the drawstring. Just kind of leave it open. Hey puppy, did you want to get down? Let me move that. You gonna jump down? Don't knock over everything, okay? On the back, it's got pockets on the front. That can kind of break up the pattern a little bit. I do like these pockets because they have covered magnet closures, which I love. But the back is plain and sort of gives you an idea of the overall print. Just love those big flowers. I just love it. This is I've said this before, it's my problem with Bedford Blooms is that I want it to be Camellia. I just love this pattern. Unfortunately, this bag, I do have this in the Laura, which might have been a better choice, but I couldn't find it in my closet. But it does have that trim. This is the smaller trim in this pattern, but there's a larger trim. There's a wider band of trim, and it has these great big beautiful leaves. Just great. Also in this sort of light, color, white with line work. Just like the leaves in the pattern. Just like that. But in the trim. Which I just love. I love it. Love this bag. Love this pattern and this bag. I just think it really holds up well. So that was Camellia, number 5. Number 4 I mean, number 4, it really took all my uh, willpower to not make this number 1 for sentimental reasons. This is Havana Rose. This is the first Vera Bradley bag I ever got, and my husband gave it to me. So this is a special bag for me. And so it was hard not to put this at number 1 because I do really love this pattern. But I was trying to be honest about what, you know, what really are my favorites. And so there are a couple that I do like a little bit more than this. But for sentimental reasons, this would be number 1. This is a Vera tote, you know, a previous version of it. It's got the zipper pocket on one side. I love that the yellow roses are my favorite flower, and so the fact that it has these 2 here is just great for me. And in this version of the Vera, the slip pocket is on the other side. That's kind of nice to get a pocket on each side versus now where they're both they're ganged up together on one side. So I guess technically with the label here, this is the front. And of course people probably know there's butterflies in this pattern. I don't think I realized that at the time. I wasn't really into Vera at the time, and I just happened to see this in a Hallmark, and my husband was with me, and I was admiring it, and I didn't buy it, and then he went back and got it for me and gave it to me for Christmas. So I wasn't really aware. I don't think I was really that focused on the butterflies. And that's sort of a nice surprise that there are butterflies in this pattern. And I'm glad I wasn't at the time because, you know, it's nice to not be so hyper-focused on stuff, because if I had been, I might not have wanted this particular one because it didn't have butterflies where I want them, but yet I got these gorgeous roses, so that's what I really wanted. That's what drew me to this bag. So, you know, this pattern reminds me of like pop art. It reminds me of Andy Warhol and photo silkscreen. That is exactly what this looks like, photo silkscreen. We've got the photo. It's a photograph of a rose, and then color is laid down on it, you know, as a screen. Pulled down over it. If anyone's ever done photo silkscreen, I have done both. The traditional silkscreen and photo silkscreen. I loved it. I mean, it's a fun process. I think it's a neat process. And this definitely reminds me of that look you get with Andy Warhol's sort of photo silkscreen portraits and stuff. So Havana Rose, number 4, but number 1 in my heart. What was 3? Was this 3? Yes. Scattered Superbloom. This is another sort of delicious, you know, just luscious pattern. Speaks to the part of me that, you know, has a background in fine art, studio art, and doing painting and using watercolor. I mean, this just looks like, you know, saturated watercolor put down on a page. Just love this. Yeah, it's a packable tote. I'm sure I have a video on this. It's in my packable totes or packable playlist, because it's not just totes. Yeah, this color is so vivid and luscious looking, and part of the reason it looks that way is because of this great background color. It pops so nicely against this sort of steel, grayish blue. Very nice. This really does look like watercolor. My mom used to paint in watercolor. That was her preferred medium, so just kind of make me think about her. Watercolor is tough. That's a tough medium. And then 2, I'm pretty sure was Itsy Ditsy, but I'll hold this up. But primarily Itsy Ditsy Navy, which is one of the custom fabrics. Just can't get over this. Love this fabric. Love the tiny. It's not, you know, a lot of these. When you think about it, most of these patterns that I just showed have really big flowers, and sometimes it's a little overwhelming. You want to break from all the big, bold stuff. You want something a little bit delicate, and this is like that, but yet not old-fashioned looking because of the way it's sort of all crammed together. Just love this. And of course it's got the critters. Everyone knows it's got the critters, so that's always, that's an added bonus. I do love this palette. I do like it in Itsy Ditsy, so, another sort of honorable mention. The regular Itsy Ditsy, but I do prefer this palette. It has a very different look because of how they've used the color here and those areas of white. Really almost gives this a little bit more three-dimensionality, I feel like. This is maybe a little bit flatter. But yeah, just love it. I think it's still available in the custom section of the website. I know they just got rid of Foxwood Menagerie Blue, which is sort of heartbreaking, and the Foxwood Blue, if that's what they were calling it. That's probably what they were calling it. That's a shame. And my number one is Petite Vines. I do have a hanging travel organizer in this, and it's a bit bigger. Would have been a bigger item to show, but I don't know where it is in my closet. Again. So, that reminds me. So here's just another example of sort of how I store things. This is just loaded up with Carson cell phone crossbodies and a couple of turn-lock wallets and I think a double accordion wristlet in there and maybe a Riley or two in there. So I think a lighten up compact organizer or two in there. And it's helping it keep its shape. So that's what I do for storage. And again, back to number one, Petite Vines, lighten up fabric. I wish they had made this in a cotton. I would have been all over this, really, just all over it. I think this is such a beautiful pattern. Love the colors, love the rendering, love that. These ones that look like thistle. Just love that. Love the density of it. Again, similar to this in the density of it. The background becomes very secondary, and I like that. I really do wish they had made this in cotton, quilted cotton fabrication. So that was it, and that's surprising for me that this made the top spot because it's, I would have expected a palette like this, something with a little bit more blue, but I just can't. I fell in love with this, and I've never really gotten over it. Anyway, so that was it. My top 10 Vera Bradley flower patterns with a few honorable mentions thrown in. I'm sorry, Peaches, did I startle you? I'm sorry. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully see you next time on Vera Bradley Bag of the Day.